Let's look at finding surface area of a square pyramid. Let's remind ourselves what a square pyramid looks like. It's a three-dimensional shape with a square bottom and then four triangular sides. So to find the surface area of a square pyramid, you need to find the surface area of the triangular faces, and there's four of them, and the square base. So if we were to deconstruct this square pyramid, it would look like this. Here you can clearly see the square base, and then if we unfold it, you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. So let's look at formula for a square pyramid. Okay, surface area for a square pyramid equals 4 times the quantity 1/2 times base times slant height plus the base squared. So the B stands for base. So any of the measure of any of these edges along the square. And then H stands for slant height. So there it is drawn into your square pyramid. It's called the slant height. From this top vertex of the square pyramid all the way down to where it hits perpendicular with the base. Let's quickly, before we go to a practice problem, let's quickly look to see where this formula is coming from. So this 1/2 times base times height, this first part here, 1/2 times base times height is how to find the area of a triangle. And there's 4 triangles that we're looking at. So that is how we find the area of these 4 triangles. And then the base squared, that is the formula, side squared, for a square. So that is the area of the bottom square. So that's where that formula is coming from. So let's try a practice problem. Number 1. Number 1, find the surface area of a square pyramid with base of 6 inches and a height of 10 inches, a slant height of 10 inches. So to do this, first always show the formula that you're going to be using to solve the problem. So surface area SA equals 4 times parentheses 1/2 times base times height, close your parentheses, plus B, the base squared. Now let's plug in 6 for the base and 10 for the slant height. So SA, surface area equals 4 times parentheses 1/2 times 6 times 10 plus B squared will be 6 squared. Right, orders of operation tells us to calculate inside the parentheses first. So 1/2 or 0.5 times 6 times 10. Well, 1/2 of 6 is 3. 3 times 10 is 30. If it was more complicated, you could always use your calculator again. 1/2 is the same thing as 0.5. All right, 4 times 30 is 120 plus, let's go ahead and calculate what 6 squared is. 6 squared means 6 times 6, not 6 times 2. It means 6 times itself. So 6 times 6, which is 36. And then finally, 120 plus 36 is 156, and that is inches squared. So it's a lot of calculations. Let's practice it Let's do another practice problem number 2. Number 2, find the surface area of a square pyramid with a base of 7 inches and a slant height of 11 inches. Again, first step should always be writing down the formula that we need to use. SA equals 4 times parentheses 1/2 times base times slant height plus the base squared. Going to substitute 7 in for B and 11 in for H. So SA equals 4 parentheses 1/2 times 7 times 11 plus the base B is 7 squared. First step is to calculate this inside. Again, if you need to use a calculator, you can put in 0.5 for 1/2. So 1/2 times 7 times 11 is 38.5. Bring down your plus 7 squared. Okay, surface area is 4 times 38.5, which is 154. Bring down your plus sign. Let's go ahead and calculate what 7 squared is. 7 squared means 7 times 7, which is 49. Now your last step is to add. 154 plus 49 is 203, and again that is in inches squared. Let's just try one more. Again, every time just following these same steps. All right, number 3, find the surface area of a square pyramid with a base of 10 centimeters and a slant height of 12 centimeters. Show your formula every single time. Right. 10 is going to go in for B, the base, and then for the slant height, H is 12. So our next step is going to look like SA equals 4 parentheses 1/2 times 10 times 12, close your parentheses, plus my base squared will be 10 squared. Orders operation, you need to do your parentheses first. So surface area equals, bring down the 4, bring down your parenthesis. Now do 1/2 times 10 times 12. Half of 10 is 5. 5 times 12 is 60. Bring down the plus sign. Bring down 10 squared. Right. Now let's go ahead and do this multiplication. 4 times 60. 4 times 60 is 240. Plus, you can go ahead and do this 10 squared. 10 times 10 is 100. 240 plus 100 is 340. And now units are centimeters, and it's always squared because we're dealing with area.